Gents and ladies, I'm gonna play a video and I'll be right back.
She said, oh, how long you been doing poetry? I said, many years, more than 20. But when I caught her expression, my smile started to fade. She said, more than 2 decades and you still performing around the way? I at least thought you'd been on Broadway or a national stage. My nostrils fled. I shifted in my seat. I adjusted my glasses. I said, what you say to me? She said, I'm just saying, more than 20 years should probably bring you fame. I said, well, the fact that I'm still in demand leaves me amazed. I'm grateful. I looked at sis again. There was no scales, no sharp talons, but it was a little smoke on her tongue. She was hateful. She said, how old are you? I took a long look around the room. I was hinting at sis to go on and move. I was trying not to be rude. I said, I'm in my early 40s. She said, true. I don't see no ring. I said, no, baby girl, not yet. She said, oh, so you ain't meet nobody who wanted to take you off the market? I said, well, of the few men that I dated, there was one I thought I would be with for life, but it didn't work out that way. She said, another independent woman who can't find her Mr. Right. I said, sis, you want to fight? But she laughed at my offense. Instead of falling back, she leaned in. She said, you sitting here like you ain't got no friends. At least tell me you got some kids. I said, I don't have no time for this. My life is beautiful the way that it is. She said, oh, you one of them. I said, one of who, friend? She said, you the type to meet a grim reality with toxic positivity. You sitting there like you never wanted to be mommy or wifey. I said, you're talking to a woman who has radical acceptance for whatever God has for me. I said, honestly, I'm at peace. And I remembered I didn't even have to be in this woman's vicinity. I started to gather my things up quickly. I said, for the record, I didn't enjoy your company. But since you forced yourself upon me, the least you can do is tell me your name. Sis gonna say same. I said, same as what, girl? Stop playing. She said, same as the woman that I'm talking to, boo. She said, sis, I'm you. I'm the dark corners of your brain. I give voice to what your subconscious be saying. She said, you met a lot of hurt people who wanted you to feel the same. You used to ignore it, but now in the quiet corners of your day, you start to regurgitate all of the negative things they used to throw your way. And she said, look around, sis, I'm not even here. But I'm glad that you can hear your inner thoughts really are that rude. You need to get to therapy and get them people's opinions up off of you. Because I know your life is beautiful, but the question is, do you? She said, right now, you sounding like your own biggest hater. And I wanted you to know that until you let their opinions go, you are the only dragon that needs slaying. Thank y'all.
Hello, welcome to Reactions and Reviews. I'm your humble host, Eze. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the show. It was a nice poem, very, very nice poem, right? And this is what goes on in real life. Reality is talking to a lot of sisters. And in her case, she was talking to herself. You understand what I'm saying? And herself in this poem is reality. Reality was really checking her. And what did she do towards the ending? She was being rebellious. What was she doing towards the ending? She started making excuses, even though reality was spitting facts. What did she do at the ending? Don't listen to what other people say. Don't do this. Be happy by yourself. Blah, this, and that. You see, that's how a lot of sisters are in real life. When they self-reflect, they don't like the outcome. They do not like the outcome. And what do? They start making excuses like she did towards the ending. Reality is talking to them, yet they've been rebellious. I'm independent. I don't need no man. I can be happy by myself. I can do bad by myself. Then they look up, they are 50, 55, 60. Stay by themselves. And why are we talking about this today? Well, we're talking about this today because we all know who KeKe Palmer is, right? She went off about how a lot of women have such high expectation.
Nobody cares when a man finds his woman under a bridge.
No, I live for Stedman, but you know that Stedman has for many decades been the butt of jokes.
Yeah, because of gender rules.
Yes.
People feel like because she's Oprah Winfrey, who did y'all want her to be with, Barack Obama? That doesn't make sense, guys. I mean, I feel like that's the weird thing about powerful women, what we're left with. So I'm supposed to find love, but he's got to have a certain amount of money, but at the same time, I got to still be like, guys, what's going on here? Why am I? nobody cares when a man finds his woman under a bridge. No one cares.
No one cares. No one cares.
No one cares. And I frankly don't care if that's who you love. That's who you love. Why do we have to deal with that?
Yes.
That to me makes no sense. I ain't never look. My daddy told me a man needs to treat you right. Mm-hmm. He needs to handle and service you in whatever way you need service. Let me tell you one thing that KeKe don't need. Money. From nobody. Now, if you want to give a little something and get my nails done, something cute,
but
I'm
shouldn't
fine
they
with
do
it.
that? But shouldn't they make that effort,
Yeah.
KeKe?
But you might still look like Stedman to the world, and that's a great role.
And that's a great role.
Because if I was married to, I was with Oprah Winfrey,
right. You just be sitting up there waiting.
Chilling.
Yeah,
and Stedman, by the way, Stedman's esteemed.
Yeah.
Stedman has a whole career. He's just not
life.
Oprah.
Yeah.
So the fact that how dare people compare you to your lover?
Yeah.
I hate that Oprah had to endure that.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that she had to endure that.
It's
and I
true.
hate that Stedman had to endure that. And that's why I said what I said, because you had a good role.
Mm-hmm.
You were supposed to be my Stedman.
Yes.
Come on.
He was.
When I played that for my dad said, yeah, because why did he want to be Stedman?
If you made it this far, hit that like button and leave a comment to trigger YouTube's algorithm. So hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to let you know every time I upload a new video. And that's why right now, if you look, most of Black women in the entertainment business that's famous, that has money, that has cars, that has fame, 8 out of 10 of them are still single. From your Vivica to your Regina Hall, Regina King, to your Lala Anthony, to your Taraji P. Henson. The list goes on and on and on. These are all successful women. Why can't they land a man that's on their level or above? You understand what I'm saying? Why is that? Well, just like the first video I played, the sister that was reciting the poem, you see, reality talks to a lot of those women. It does. And what do? They rebel, just like that sister did at the ending of her poem. She rebelled. You see, that's what a lot of sisters do. Reality talks to them, but they rebel. They are so delusional to where they believe they can have their cake and eat it too. And that's not how it works, my dear sisters. That is not how it works. Now, what do you guys think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Either way, leave your comments below so we can start this conversation. Until the next video, stay safe in the streets. Later. That will wrap it up for today's episode. And thank you for joining me. So please, leave a comment below. If you agree, if you disagree, it doesn't matter. Leave the comment below. And also, you tell me what you want me to cover. You tell me what you want me to discuss and what you want me to react to. Okay? And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll see you on the next episode. Please don't forget to subscribe. Let's rebuild the Black nuclear family. It is needed. Okay? God bless.